Hi, it's Dee. Thanks for joining me. I'm so happy you're here. Settle into my virtual hair chair and let's get into it. This is Deep Cuts. Well, this is the first episode. My first segment will be called the Daily Deets, keeping it right on brand with a capital DEE. But before, I just kind of wanted to give a little bit of an introduction, let you know who I am and if you don't already know, my name is Dee. My full name is Deanna. Some people call me Dee Dee. Most people just call me Dee. I'm a hairstylist, a lifelong hairstylist. I've been doing hair since I came out of the womb. All of my Barbies were my very first clients, doll heads, cousins, friends, family, my own head. So yeah, uh, definitely born to do hair and born to talk. I've been a writer my whole life. I've shared stories about my life with everyone in my chair doing hair and always been told to write a book. And, I've tried and I have journals and poems and all kinds of things in this little bookcase behind me. And got in trouble for talking all the time as a kid, got in trouble from teachers, from my parents, family, friends, their parents, whatever. So when podcasting came out, I was like, oh my God, I was born for this. This is perfect. So, yeah, I'm a mom. I have two daughters, Hannah and Grace. One of them is going to be 27 in the week, July 1st, and the other one will be 25 in August. So that went quick. I raised my girls as a single mom. I raised them in Evanston, but there's a lot to that story, and you'll hear that at some point. I've been behind the chair for 37 years. I've owned a couple different spots, salons, always been a bit of an entrepreneur. I'm the doer of a ton of things. I love all things cosmic and mystic, and I always have ever since I was little. I wasn't raised with a religion, so I kind of had to find interests and find my own way. And so I found interest in magic and astrology and um, the stars and just kind of fascinated with all different religions just to see what they meant. And I found not a lot of them aligned with how I was feeling, except for like at the time, I would say maybe Buddhism, but I never really got into it. I honestly just always just try to be a good person and do the right thing. And I always felt like astrology was sort of like an explanation. Um, and also something that you could look to because the skies are real. It's a science. It's an art. I'm no expert. I've been studying ever since I was a teenager, but I've been in astrology school now since the beginning of the year. I joined last year, but I joined late. I felt like I was really behind, and so I started again. But that's been a really cool experience, and I'll definitely share more about that. I'm just kind of want to go over a small introduction just so you know who's talking to you. So I've got some things written down, but yeah, I have a dog and a cat currently, one dog and one cat. I normally have multiple animals. I had 7 cats when I had my girls. It didn't start off that way. I had 2, then I had found 2, and then I met someone with 2, and then another one showed up. And yeah, I'm an animal lover. I'm a nature lover. I love being outside. I love being around animals. I feel connected to them. I feel connected to nature. I just feel like they bring out the best in everyone. So I am a volunteer at Paws. I don't volunteer as much as I would like, but I've done the training and I'm really excited to get a little bit more involved. But as you'll see, when I go down my list, I am interested in far more things than I have time for. I have been studying Kabbalah for a few years as well, which is ancient Jewish mysticism, if you're unfamiliar. I'm not really going to go into that right now, but I would encourage you, if you are interested in it at all, Kabbalah.com is a great start. It's a little bit of a smaller version of where I started, and it's a little easier to dive in. But I've really grown a lot and felt a strong connection to the creator. And I feel like I've just really grown as a person since I've been studying Kabbalah. And since a lot of things in my life have changed. And I mean, aren't we all growing since the day we're born? I mean, we're definitely growing, we're aging. I mean, we're deteriorating. Oh my goodness. Yeah, okay. So I've had a ton of jobs in my life. I'll probably talk about those a lot. Again, this is just a small introduction to a whole world of stories about me and my life and the things that I've done and the people that I've met and people that I've done. um, Including some famous people. Stay tuned. Yeah, okay, let's see. I love to write. I write poetry. I wrote a cute little haiku about this whole journey. And of course, I do. I have it right here. Do I? Oh goodness. I don't think I do. That's okay. It's okay. We can edit that out too, I think. And if we don't, then we don't, because guess what? In Deep Cuts, we're keeping it real. There's nothing to hide. I'm not perfect. I'm going to make plentiful mistakes, but you know what? I don't care. That's how I grow. If you don't make mistakes, you can't learn. You can't grow if you don't, or if you don't believe that, at least you can learn that if you do make mistakes, you can grow from them and you can learn from them. I've been on some TV shows. I've been in some movies. I was in Divergent and we filmed in Chicago. I filmed for 33 days. It was so much fun. I have a featured background scene, so you'll have to look for it and tell me if you can find me, but I have hot pink hair and I can share a clip. I mean, heck, why not? Don't bother trying to find me. I'll just share the clip. What else? Well, what do I do? I've got a little note thing here. What do I do? What don't I do? I'm a plant lover. I'm really good with them. I have a pretty solid green thumb. I'm not good with all of them. I'm actually pretty good. I'm humble about it because I feel like they have a little bit of a mind/life of their own. So, like, sometimes no matter what you do, they won't stick around. You can't keep them. But I went to Hawaii in 2023. That is a trip I will definitely talk about. It was amazing, life changing. It was a yoga retreat, but I would call it more of a woman's retreat. It was unbelievable. But while we were there, I went to an orchid farm and I talked to the lady and I told her what kind of environment I live in. And she recommended an orchid. And so I shipped it to myself and I still have it. It's thriving. It's so beautiful. It's in the other room, but I'll take a picture of that and post it as well. But it's really cool. It's like a vining kind of an orchid. So instead of like popping up really high, it comes out like vines almost. It's beautiful. It's so pretty. It's not flowering right now, but it's starting to get a lot more leaves and some stalks coming up. So it makes me super happy because oh my god, I can't believe I mean, like, it's so cool that I even have it, but that it's alive still is just like super cool. I love birds. I have a little bird feeder right outside my window here, and it's like suction cup to the window. And for the last 3 years, I've been in Printers Row, a neighborhood in Chicago, and 1 year in the Loop. And so I didn't have any birds. I mean, I saw them when I walked to the park and stuff, but it's really cool. I'm in a coach house now. And so I have an opportunity to kind of like have tons of birds around me and squirrels. And so, like, I am just like feeding them and talking to them. And it's so cool. I have a family of cardinals that come to my bird feeder. There's a ton of finch. There's a ton of sparrows. But the cardinals, they're just so beautiful. And not even just the bright red ones, which are the males, but the females they're so pretty too. For some reason, one of mine doesn't have any tail feathers, and she really never did. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I can post pictures of her and them as well. They're so cute, and the squirrels are adorable too, so I love that. Unfortunately, I was not very interested in school, particularly high school. I had some trauma. I think that's probably what happened. I mean, because prior to that, I was really good in school, but like 7th and 8th grade weren't amazing. I was really insecure. I don't wanna go into the story right now, but anyway, what I was gonna say was if I had been in a healthier place in high school at that time, I think, like, if I could go back, I would have loved to have taken the plants and animals class. Oh my gosh, like, I would love to take that now, but so anyway, I get my own little plants and animals on my own, and I love it. I'd love to have a little garden. A friend of mine has a garden. Watched her adorable video on Facebook where she kind of gave like a tour, and it was just so inspiring and so healing and so adorable. And she's just so cute, and I really enjoyed that. I love to travel. I travel quite a bit. I don't travel as often as I used to. When I was raising my girls as a single mom, I made it a point every spring break to take them on an epic vacation. And sometimes the epic vacation was, a weekend in New Orleans. And other times it was a week in Costa Rica or a week in Puerto Rico or a week in California. And, we learned something new on each of those trips. And so those are really fun. And I'll definitely share a lot about my travels. I've traveled a lot alone. I've done a lot of hiking trips by myself to Sedona. I've traveled to, I'm going to talk actually today about a trip to Paris that I took alone. And I just recently did an astrology retreat in Italy where I traveled there alone, but I was with a group of people. So that was unique because normally I travel alone and then end up being alone while I'm there. So that's a big part of my life as well. And I'd like to get back into that. I love, love, love music. Music is one of my favorite things. I love to just listen to music. I love to dance. I don't go dancing anymore, but I used to go dancing. And in my 20s, I went dancing every single night. No lie. Lots of fun stories about that. Even when dancing like in my late 30s when I got divorced, I like relived my 20s for like 3 years. And that was really interesting how I thought I had changed and grown so much. And while I had, I definitely didn't grow and change as much because I realized when I stepped away and started to really heal that I repeated a lot of the same patterns when I started to go out again. Really unhealthy patterns, getting like blackout drunk and sleeping with people that I didn't know. And no judgment by any means of anybody, but those were not good decisions for me. In the moment, I didn't know that. But again, these are all things that we'll talk about. So, loves music, loves to dance. And I listen to music every day. I dance every day. And so that's part of why I also wanted to make this about music. So I'll be sharing a song of the episode every week, and I'll be creating a playlist as we go so you can listen to the songs and hopefully enjoy them and dance, perhaps. I'll be sharing a lot of different kinds of music. I wouldn't say that they're all going to be deep cuts per se, but they will be often deep cuts. They will be tracks that I really love, artists that you might have never heard of. Because I listen to a wide variety of music and my music goes way back. And some of the music that I listen to, it's like they only had 2 songs and existed in like 1995. So, but you're going to hear it. So it's going to be really cool. Um, I'm a yoga instructor. I did a 200-hour yoga teacher training in Evanston in 2015, and that was a wonderful experience. I- it's so funny because every time I have these, life experiences, I feel like, I've reached this destination of like, wow, I'm just so much better than I was yesterday. I mean, I know I have more to grow, but wow, like looking back. And it's interesting because here I am, 2015, we're in 2026 now. So that's 11 years ago. And like I am eons different than I was then. But it was still an epic and beautiful, amazing experience that I'll share. And then during the pandemic, I got my 300 hours with a different yoga studio on Zoom with a woman out of Hawaii. She lives actually on Kauai, a beautiful soul. Actually, that's the woman who did the yoga/women's retreat that I went to in Hawaii, where I stayed with a group of women. And oh my God, I cannot wait to tell you guys that story because it was also life changing. Oh my gosh, I hope you all stay tuned because I'm telling you, I have lived a life of wild ups and downs and lefts and rights and ins and outs. And oh my goodness. I read tarot cards, I read oracle cards. So we'll be doing a little bit of that. So yeah, I'll be doing a yoga pose. We'll do some meditation. This will evolve as we go, but these are all segments in the podcast. I've dated a lot. Um, Before my marriage, after my marriage. And I have tons of dating stories. I mean, I could write a novel just literally alone on the amount of dates, people I've dated, experiences I've had. Like, honestly, we can't go there now because these are interesting conversations, and this is just an introduction. I love all things cosmic and weird. Always have. Again, like I said, when I was a kid, I remember I think it was Time Life came out with these books, and it was like witchcraft and astrology and like weird esoteric stuff. Definitely. Oh, there was one about the pyramids, and I'm going to Google that. I will share that as well. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, I found yoga. Interestingly enough, when I was in my early 20s and I was looking for an astrology book in a metaphysical bookstore in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. And the lady that owned the store said, you should come to our yoga class. And I'm like, yoga, isn't that for hippies? I mean, I think I was probably 23, 24, and it was for hippies back then. And that was, I remember walking through that door and seeing a gong, and I was like, oh shit. I think I found my calling. Like, this is amazing. So, yeah, that was really cool. um, and I remember every single yoga instructor that I had slash guru. Yeah, I have tons of music to share from my yoga journey. I mean, I feel like this could go on until the day I die because I will never run out of subjects. I will never run out of things to talk about. Yeah, so Deep Cuts was born. It was born about like 6, 7 years ago, actually. I was working in a hair salon and my friend at the time and I decided to open up our own salon. And I was driving my daughter to Penn State. She was going to her first orientation, her first year, like it was just the summer before. And she had introduced me to a podcast called My Favorite Murder, which to this day could potentially be my favorite podcast. Hi, Karen. Hi, Georgia. I really hope you listen to this someday. And I really hope that maybe potentially I might be a good fit for Exactly Right. Karen, we have so many things in common. I can't even begin to tell you. So I'll save it for another day. And I have literally a notebook. So stay tuned. Georgia, you too, but Karen's closer to my age. So we have a lot more like weird things, like common. But for you, Georgia, we have like some other weird things. So definitely want to touch on that. And I will. So Hannah introduced me to podcast. And I remember thinking, oh, that's kind of cool. Like people are just talking and you can listen. That seems kind of neat. And so when we opened up our own space, I thought, whoa, it'd be so cool to podcast from in this salon. Everyone has funny stories and there's so many fun things that happen. And what a cool idea that would be. And, it kind of, it was born in that moment, but it definitely didn't gain any traction. My business partner at the time was really kind of like camera shy, so she wasn't really into even being recorded, and it just wasn't necessarily the right space for it. So when we moved to our bigger salon, I talked about it again, and it wasn't the right time. And then 2020 hit. I mean, we opened in like June of 2019, so barely open a year. The pandemic hit. And then I thought, oh, cool. I'm going to be able to do some recording while we're on lockdown. And then my dad died totally unexpectedly in his sleep at 68. It was rough. Again, another story for another day. But I think I finally got the hair that's been stuck to my lip or this microphone. Um, But yeah, it didn't really come to life until fairly recently as I walked away from my business and my business partner and started a small space of my own. What Deep Cuts means to me is a safe space to share, a space to share my stories, my thoughts, other people's stories with their permission, of course. Um, and some who are no longer with us, they don't and won't have their permission. But I will always keep it respectful. I will always keep conversations that involve other people honest, and of course mine as well. Um, I will always speak the truth. And some of the things that I'm going to talk about are going to be hard to hear because I haven't always had the easiest life. I've had a lot of trauma. I've had a lot of bad experiences. And I came from a lot of generational trauma. And I was born to teenagers, and I'm always going to be honest. And I might say some things that are going to hurt some people's feelings. And I apologize for that. I will say this: if you wish to be remembered or spoken about in a different way, I would suggest you act in the way that you would like to be spoken about and remembered. Is that always easy? No. And we all make mistakes, and everybody does some fucked up shit. And, apologies go a long way. Accountability goes a long way. So that said, I'm going to talk about growth and spiritual growth and journeys and funny things. And it's really going to be about our journeys as human beings and the growth and the healing that can be had if we look for it, if we want it. And I'm hoping it's going to be a place for real people to connect. I hope that you'll share your stories with me so that I can share them with others. Everyone has a story to tell, and mine is just mine. It doesn't make it any more special or better or worse, more traumatic, more dramatic than anybody else's. I'm not here comparing myself to anyone else. I'm here to keep it real and give you the deep cuts from Dee's life. I cut hair. I like to get deep. I love music. I love deep cut music. I'm going to share other people's podcasts, other people's books, and things that I'm interested in so you can follow them if you're interested in them as well. A healthy dose of don't take life too seriously, because let me tell you something. If you take your life too seriously, you're never going to have any fun. Laugh at yourself, laugh at the mistakes, laugh at things, have fun. If you mess up, start over, do it again. You are not perfect. The choices that you make, you can make new ones tomorrow. You can learn and not make the same choices. So yeah, this episode might be a little bit of an introduction only, but I'm going to try to wrap up the intro so I can get a little bit into some stuff, the daily deets, what's happening in my life. What's happening in my life is I'm starting this podcast. So that's the most current, exciting thing that's going on in my life. I just got back from an amazing trip. I had two right on top of each other. I saw my mom and my daughters. We all got together for Mother's Day, so that was amazing. And then right after that, I went to Italy. But I'll tell you about that another time. Couple funny moments I'll share from the week. I saw this guy walking in front of me, and he was kind of like like just walking. And a guy was walking towards him with flowers, and he says to the guy, "Oh, you shouldn't have." And the guy looks at him and goes, "I didn't." And it made me laugh so hard. I laughed out loud, and it was like the best sidewalk encounter I've had in a long time. So that was cool. I saw two girls, little girls, probably like 8 years old, walking around with a tray of cookies and lemonade, and they had a little QR code so they could sell it to you if you didn't have cash, which, like, who has cash? Normally, I do have cash because I always try to have cash on hand to give to people who are unhoused or hungry. Um, but I didn't have my phone, and my wallet is on my phone, so I couldn't even do a QR code. But they were so cute. They reminded me of my girls, and they were just adorable. Walking the neighborhood with a tray. I mean, I just, like, you're not even in front of the house, like, you're just walking the neighborhood. It was so cute. So that's a quick little daily deet. The song of the episode is a James Blake song, and the song is called Say What You Will from the Friends That Break Your Heart album that was released in 2021. I chose this song because people are always going to say what they will, and they're gonna talk shit. I heard RuPaul say, which I thought was really cool, and she might have heard it from someone else, but it was, "It's none of your business what other people think of you." And I love that, especially if it's not good, why do you wanna know? Like, I don't wanna know what someone thinks of me if it's not nice. Like, I don't care. It's none of my business. So this song is called Say What You Will. I feel like I used to not care what people thought. I would always say, I don't care what you could say what you will, I don't care. But I think deep down I did care. And until I really started to love myself and truly love myself, that's when I think I started to really not care. And I had a client come in last week that I hadn't seen in a year, and she had a baby. And I mean, it had been such a long time. And I sent her a text afterwards and told her how nice it was to see her. And she sent me a text back and she said that I was positively glowing. And I thought that was so cool because, in the past, I might have been positively glowing because of a relationship or someone I had met or maybe, something I had done. But I think in this case, it was like finally that self love is showing up in how I show up. And I thought that was really cool. People have their own version sometimes of things that happened and things that were said. And, I don't care what your version is. I know the truth. I know my version. And so that's kind of what this song is about. And my favorite lyric, I have a couple. The main lyric, say what you will, you're going to do it anyway. And then my other favorite lyric is like a comet blazing through an empty sky. Both of those speak so personally to me, and I love both of them, and I just love the song. So I hope you'll listen to it. So yeah, interestingly enough, I had a new client last week, and I mentioned that I was going to see James Blake in concert, who I went and saw last week. And she said that that was the only celebrity she ever met. And I thought that was such an interesting sign because I was talking about releasing the podcast and that I was going to this concert and I was going to use one of his songs as song of the episode. Um, and the title of today's episode is Cut and Release. She was a new client that came in with hair down to her middle of her back. And she said that she lets her hair grow that long and then goes and gets a haircut once a year. And they just kind of do like a mid neck bob. And she was talking to her therapist about it. And her therapist said, why don't you find someone who specializes in your hair type and go get a really good haircut? And so she found me. I specialize in fine, thin hair and curls. And I mean, I can really do it all. I'm very good, but I'm humble and I'm grateful. And so she found me and she came in and said that she wanted a pixie cut. And so I said, well, let's do your bob that you normally do first. Like, we got to cut all this off anyway. So let's get to a length that I can work with. Creating a pixie from here is a lot easier than creating a pixie from down here. And you gotta chop off a big amount first. And so we did that. And she was like, oh yeah, I mean, this is really cute, but like, no, I still feel like I'm looking at the same haircut and I really want something different. And I was like, let's do it. So I gave her a pixie cut. I mean, this girl just cut and released so much hair. And with all of that hair comes energy. I mean, that had to be so cathartic for her to release all of that hair and to do it in a space where she didn't know me. She didn't know my salon. I mean, what an honor and what a gift that people trust me and give me that space and I can help them to feel safe. It's such a blessing and a gift, and I'm so grateful. She was also really cool. She was young, so I don't know how long of a career she had, but she left her career to chase a dream to being a tattoo artist. And so she's an apprentice. And I'm hoping to see her and get a tattoo. So, I mean, it was such a perfect story for my segment Story from Behind the Chair. And so thank you to her for that because I was able to share that story and I love it. And she loved her hair. She was so cute with it. And I hope she's rocking it and I hope she loves it. And I hope it made her feel everything that she wanted to feel, different and new. And so it's kind of a metaphor, for life, right? Like we just cut and we release. And sometimes it's a relationship, sometimes it's a friendship, sometimes it's hair, sometimes it's a place. Um, so normally the next segment would be a story behind my mind, which is a story I will share that goes along with the story behind the chair. And so I was going to share a story about a trip that I took to Paris, but I'm going to save it because I think I've shared quite a bit already. So we'll save the story from behind my mind for another day. It includes someone who introduced me to James Blake, not in real life, but to his music. And so I wanted to use this story because it was also another James Blake layer. Because, by the way, I love you, James Blake. I've been to see you every single time you come to Chicago, and you are amazing. So I'm going to save that story because it's a good one and it's worthy of a lot of time. I don't want to skip this because this is important because of the timing. We're going to go into the cosmic shift. The moon phase currently is a waxing crescent. We just had a new moon in Gemini. And now we're in this waxing crescent phase. I like to think of when wax falls off of a candle and it builds. So that's how I like to think of the moon. It's like, waxing. So the energy is building. We're building to a full moon. The new moon is a place to plant seeds so that they can grow and then culminate at the full moon. And then at the full moon is a time to release, and then the full moon gets smaller, and so the energy grows less. And so there's different things to do in the moon phases. So currently it's growing in size, and one of the things that I love about the moon is it's considered a luminary, but it doesn't actually light up. Its only light is a reflection from the sun. So I think it's really cool that it's considered a luminary. This coming Sunday, June 21st, it's the summer solstice. And the sun is also entering the sign of Cancer. My daughter's a Cancer. Her birthday's July 1st. So those are really cool things. And they are happening on the same day. It also happens to be Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I miss you, Dad. I miss you, Papa. I never knew you, biological dad, but happy Father's Day to all three of you. To the second one, thank you for raising me when you didn't have to. And thank you for loving me when you didn't have to. To the third one, thank you for loving me when you didn't have to. And thank you for loving my mom the way she deserved to be loved and the way no one had loved her before. Happy Father's Day. I love you and I miss you infinitely. And I think of you every single day. The summer solstice is a time when the sun reaches its highest point in the sky. It's the longest day of the year. So I think it's a really beautiful day to reflect on our blessings, how much we've grown. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick oracle card pull. And if you can find a comfortable seat, if you're not already in a comfortable spot, and find a comfier position. And let's get into some shoulder rolls and some neck rolls. Maybe close your eyes and allow yourself to just relax and breathe in and breathe out. Breathing in and breathing out. Deep sighs feel so good. So doing some neck rolls and some shoulder stretches and finding that comfy spot and take some deep breaths. I'm going to pull an oracle card out of one of my favorite decks. It is called the Native Spirit deck. And it looks like this, and I love it so much. It's a really beautiful oracle deck. Okay, so I'm going to pull a card, and then I'm going to read it, and then we're going to say goodbye. And so usually when I shuffle oracle cards, or tarot cards, I just kind of wait for one of them to pop out and tell me that's the one that wants to be shared. And so since this is a collective pull, everybody meditate together. Oh, there it goes. Oh, looks like you are already meditating. Good job. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, so two cards fell out. I don't know if really want to read both of them. So I'm going to go with the one I saw first, which is the trickster. And it looks like this. It's a coyote. And actually, I was just talking about coyotes recently. So let's see what the trickster says. Okay, trickster. Okay. The card meaning: things are not as they seem. Something that seems bad may in fact be good, and vice versa. Don't take everything at face value. Look beneath the surface. This card encourages you to try to find humor or gentle amusement in seemingly difficult situations. It also encourages you to have irrepressible fun. Step out of the mold. Your native spirit wants you to know: in indigenous traditions, there's the concept of the tricksters. In Native American traditions, the trickster is often depicted as a wily coyote, but sometimes the trickster is a human called Hioka. There is a light-hearted, fun aspect of the trickster, but there's also the caution to tread carefully because things are not always as they seem. Be discerning. What appears to be a good opportunity may in fact not be. The wonderful aspect of this card choosing you is that it offers the opportunity to step out of the old, outmoded ways of perceiving yourself. The trickster allows you to see yourself in an entirely new way and asks you to step out of your old routines and habits that might be keeping you stagnant. The journey. It might sound very strange, but the easiest way to activate the energy of this card is to howl like a coyote. If you can, it's even better to do it during the light of the full moon. This breaks up stagnant energies and brings in fresh vitality. Okay, that's crazy cool because this entire episode, I've been sharing a little bit about myself, but we talked about releasing, and I feel like that card was a perfect pull. So I think that was a great card. Thank you, universe. Also, interestingly enough, I'm just going to stand up and show you that I'm wearing my wolf necklace today. I'm stuck. Hang on. There we go. So this is something that I bought at an estate sale. I think it's carnelian. It is a wolf, and I think it's so cool. It was actually commissioned by an artist. I don't know her name off the top of my head. It's on the back of this piece, but I'm not going to be able to read it, guaranteed. So I will share that later. I'll share a picture of that as well. But I think it's really cool that I'm wearing my wolf necklace, and I pulled up the trickster that even though it's a coyote, they both howl. So crazy cool. Okay, so thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Sweep away what didn't serve you and share what did. Subscribe to the podcast. Share the episode, share the show, leave a review, follow along. Also, I'm just going to let you know I have 2 other podcasts coming out. One of them is called Don't Forget to Call Your Mom, and it's coming out the same time as this one, so stay tuned. And then the other one, I'm not going to tell you yet, but it'll be out by the end of the month. And I'll see you back in my chair next week. And until then, take it easy on yourself and others. And I won't do this every time, but interestingly enough, my astrology teacher howls, and I think we need to end this episode with a howl, especially since the trickster said so. So, all right, here we go. I'm going for it. My dog is tripping. See you next time. Take it easy. Peace.